Redline.
Okay, hello there and welcome to My Friend Made Me Watch, where I ask one of my friends to give me a movie to watch, and no matter how much I kick, cry, and or scream, I have to watch it. Thankfully, this episode is a step up from the last one. My friend Bleps chose the movie Redline, an action, sci-fi, racing, adventure, anime movie. That's a lot of words, but this is a lot of movie. But before we dive deeper into this movie, or should I say drive deeper, make sure you give this video a like and maybe even consider subscribing. I don't know, it's your choice. So my friend made me watch Redline. Let's chat about it, shall we? So first things first, there is a lot to this movie. Typically, I just recap the movie, hit all the notes, you know, but holy crap, we'd probably be here for 15 minutes longer than I'd want to be. So there will probably be a lot of details and things like that missing. Redline is free to watch on Tubi, so give it a watch if this video doesn't do enough for you. We start off at a race to qualify for Redline. Redline is a super popular race that occurs every 5 years, so it's a pretty big deal. A racer named Sonoshee McLaren is in first for most of the race, but we'll get to her later. Our main boyo that we'll be following around is a racer known as Sweet JP, who is the love child of Elvis and Danny Zuko from Greece. He's hanging around and definitely not first place, which works out good for his buddy and mechanic, Frisbee. Frisbee is working with the Mafia to get some of that sweet cash. They want JP to stay behind so his betting odds are at its lowest, then have him use his sweet vroom skills to go towards first. They don't want him to win and qualify, however. To step away from the story just for a little bit, the music in this movie gets me hype as JP uses some nitro boost to Fast and Furious his way past Sonoshee. JP, however, chokes the victory royale and wrecks his Trans Am. Sonoshee McLaren wins the race and qualifies for Redline. We then see JP recovering in his hospital bed and Frisbee comes in with a briefcase full of money. JP doesn't want that dirty money though, cause he's not about that life anymore. Before Frisbee can really say much, some paparazzi bust down the door and are shoving cameras and mics into his face. I guess if it's during hospital's visiting hours, it's not that big a deal. They turn on a TV and tell him the news of a couple racers dropping out of Redline, so now JP can take one of their spots. The racers dropped out because of how dangerous the race will be. Redline's gonna be at Robo World, and the president of Robo World does not want the Redline to take place. JP says he'll race in it anyways, regardless of how dangerous it is.
Goody, we get to see a bunch of idiots get themselves killed!
Violence is the only thing that gets me hot anymore.
At JP's garage, there's another mechanic who they call Old Man. He says that JP can't trust Frisbee because he's scum and he's still mixing it up with the mob. JP doesn't seem to care all that much and tells Old Man to just work with Frisbee on getting his car in the tip-top racing condition. JP goes out for a bite to eat. The restaurant he goes to just so happens to be where Sonoshee is.
Whoa.
They start talking about the race because, obviously, what else are they going to talk about? And they actually start to hit it off. They're talking about some crystal that's more powerful than gold nitro, and they lean in closer and closer to one another till a guy named Shinkai interrupts their little moment.
You know, it's the first time I've ever seen a real steam light myself.
He also wants a piece of that Sonoshee action.
And could I perhaps have a taste of you as well, this fine evening?
But you're not the main character, Shinkai, so piss off. We get introduced to another racer named Machine Head, who according to Shinkai is the fastest racer in the galaxy. The Robo military bust into the restaurant and the racers are supposedly at a place where the military can't do much, but the president says he'll do what he wants. JP drops Sonoshee off at her place and there's definitely something there. He has a flashback to when they actually first met when they were younger. JP is back at the garage and Old Man says Frisbee wants to put a super powerful but unstable engine in the car. Old Man doesn't think it's a good idea, but JP has faith in Frisbee. We see where all the action is before the big race as a bunch of people are placing bets on who will win.
Give me 300 on Sweet JP. You're betting on a long shot, buddy. Good luck.
Some government robots show up and ruin all the fun by shooting up the place. Later, in retaliation, a bunch of workers are attacking Robo World's main power source. By the way, I'm sure government boys have names and shit, but there's so many people in this movie, so I'm really just trying to focus on the main protagonists and such. I hope you understand. Like I said, I recommend you check this movie out for yourself so you get everything you need. The president is planning to use a huge cannon to stop Redline. The reason why they don't want Redline taking place at Robo World is because it's broadcasted at every corner of the galaxy and they're afraid of their secret military stuff being exposed. On TV, they're highlighting all the racers. When they get to JP, they show how he and Frisbee got busted for fixing a race in the past. Which still, Frisbee is trying to tell JP how to race, but like I said earlier, JP isn't about that life anymore. A princess from another planet shows up to Robo World with her ship and marks where the finish line is for the racers. The racers are about to be taken to the track, so JP decides decides to start talking to Sonoshee. She's pretty skeptical of JP after hearing about his past, so she kinda just shrugs him off. The president of Robo World is fed up with the fact that Redline is showing no signs of being cancelled, so he asks for the cannon to be fired as the racers are in the dropship. However, the cannon has malfunctioned after two racers, Lynchman and Johnny Boya, messed with it earlier. Good job, boys. JP's odds of winning this race are almost 25,000 to 0. The race is divided into 3 tracks, and Robo World's military is split up into 3 groups to try and stop him. The race begins and the drivers are dropped out of the dropship, and holy yikes, they immediately get shot at. These racers have no remorse for each other either, as Lynchman and Johnny Boya send Sonoshee into the water. Sonoshee does return the favor though. Frisbee is with the mobster guy from the beginning, and JP is in last place. So far, it's working out for Frisbee. The government has something huge hidden underground that they call Funky Boy, and the workers that wiped out the power earlier begin banging on Funky Boy's covering. JP starts to pick up the pace, which really starts to worry the mobster guy. Robo World military sends more hell for the racers to deal with, and Sonoshee's car gets shot at all to hell, which worries JP. One racer falls on top of Funky Boy's covering and breaks it open. Well, that can't be good. Funky Boy is apparently a bioweapon and wreaks all sorts of havoc across the track and his surroundings. The government aren't supposed to have something as dangerous as Funky Boy, so to keep from any more hell breaking loose, they fire up the cannon once again. Funky Boy gets blown the F up, and the blast knocks out all the racers. JP is sitting with Sonoshee and asking if she's alright. Old Man is watching the race and notices that there's a bomb on JP's car placed there by Frisbee, just in case JP is about to win. Sonoshee asks JP about the race fixing stuff, and JP explains that Frisbee hooked up with the mafia to buy parts for JP's car. His life was on the line and JP lost that very next race. He owed a crap ton of money to the mob, so JP did what he had to do. Sonoshee says JP can pay him back the money when they win Redline, so they're gonna go together. Funky Boy is actually not totally blown up because he starts to regenerate. The president allows the general to take care of shit his way, so the general, I guess, morphs into this giant weird creature thing. I don't know, it just seems kind of random. So the general goes and fights with Funky Boy. JP and Sonoshee are on the move, and the head mafia guy wants Frisbee to take his check and blow JP's car up. Frisbee and JP would be getting 20 trillion monies. Sheesh. Frisbee wants JP to win though, for once in his life, but the mob beats Frisbee up because, well, the mob doesn't really like to play around. But then out of nowhere, Old Man shows up and god dang shoots everybody. Machine Head is still in the lead and he's on a different kind of racing steroids, but Sonoshee has that crystal thing from earlier, so she and JP blast off after him. The finish line is on top of Desk Tower, which no one can climb up, but the princess from earlier makes a hidden path that she put down rise up, and the racers have a clear shot to the finish line. Machine Head as well as JP and Sonoshee are neck and neck going up the ramp. Machine Head is a little too beefy, so he slides down a little bit. It doesn't keep him in second place for much longer though.
You don't deserve to win! Victory is mine!
JP is starting to run out of nitro, but the old man detonates the bomb that Frisbee planted earlier and it boosts them a little further. Machine Head, however, has like an infinite supply of nitro, so he blasts past them once again. The fire from Machine Head's boost is able to literally fire up JP's car, and they go whooshing past Machine Head, but in the process they get launched out of the car. JP and Sonoshee just barely fly past the finish line before Machine Head and win Redline. While they're both still floating in the air, they say I love you, then kiss. The last thing we see on screen is love, and then the end. The end indeed. Well, my friend made me watch Redline and I'm actually surprised that I enjoyed it. If I'm being honest, when I'm looking for stuff to watch, anime or things similar to it are usually far down on my list, but this movie was nice. I can definitely see myself watching this again down the line because I know there are plenty of things that I missed the first time around. The only complaint I kinda have is the aftermath. Like what happened to the General and Funky Boy? Redline finished, so does the government just say, okay, back to business, or are they still gonna be gunning for the racers for being cheeky little bastards? But really, I don't need those answers all too bad. Thank you for watching this video and I hope you enjoyed. Like the video and consider subscribing. I'll see y'all in the next video. Bye bye.